And we'll have a show. Hello. Come on, stream software. I am a professional. There we go. Jeez, I gotta do something about a noise gate. Alright, put that down to potato quality. Put this down to potato quality. Low. Pop it in the corner so I can monitor. Alright, good evening, friends. We're a little behind. Back in the regular stick of things. I'm about 15 minutes behind where I wanted to be, thanks to an XSplit update. So, a little bit of patience, pretty please, while I finish up the last of the things that need doing. Make sure I don't get any interruptions. Definitely don't want the work ones. We shut that one up. All right. And I went ahead and shouted out at a friend's streaming Discord in the hopes that maybe we'll pick up one random stranger. Confuse the living crap out of some random stranger. So, good evening, people. Haven't really missed much. It's been a busy week for me personally, but isn't that every week at this point? No new code developments. I haven't had time to do more code. I really need to get some time down with some code. Like, I've been feeling dull and off the ball, so there was a decent amount of there was a good piece of news that I should put in the window over there. New mining changes were announced today from CCP Fozzie, and they are on point. I really like them. I'm glad to see. I usually don't agree with Fozzie when it comes to economic adjustments. I think he can be a little heavy-handed, but I really like the mechanical changes that they're doing. So I got nothing to complain about there. Let's see what else. We're gonna go check Moongoo real quick. Dysprosium's a little interesting. Platinum's a little interesting. I don't think it's going to make it into the show. So if you're watching this on the front end and you really like technical analysis, Platinum is doing one of those classic signals for spiking, but I'm about 50-50 on it, so we're not going to be including it in the main show. I won't even show you the graph. Yeah, I'm that cringy. We will not be talking about the Just Let It Happen thing, seeing as it has nothing to do with the market. And I don't even want to talk about it. Like, I almost got through a whole day of not having to deal with Eve drama, and then I got roped into it, and I'm like, but why do we have to be so bad? Let's see, we wanna put that in there. That shouldn't be backing off as early as it is. When did this come out? Today. Oh. Get the tinfoil hats out, boys. We don't care. Even though, like, I'm missing half of my freaking items in here right now. I really need to get a good bug hunting day, like a good bug hunting weekend would do a shitload of good around here. Because I've got stuff stacking up, and it's starting to really make this difficult. Ah, we are putting that in the show. I shouldn't put that in the show, but I'm going to put that in the show. Today I learned there is an item called meat popsicle. This is news to me. That's funny. I'm putting it in the show. Let's see. Augmented warriors. I don't think we care. Nope. Cinnaball is interesting. We'll put that in the list. Enams are interesting. Let's put that in the list. A's was asking... What was A's asking for? Chart on arcs. Yeah, we can put that in. I know this is stellar, incredibly, jaw-droppingly interesting. I know. Real top tier content. Plots. Today's plots. We want that one. We want to go to JF. No, we want to go to here because there's JFs in that one. We put it in here. Good. Okay. Let's see. Anything else that's really good? Nitrogen isotopes. We got to put nitrogen isotopes in the list. Zoom in. Nitrogen. Okay. Critters. Curses. Trimark armor pumps are a little interesting. Public fleet gyro stabs are interesting. Huh. So let's put Cinnaball, Curator, Curator, whatever, and the Curse. Yeah, let's do that. That looks like a show to me. Yeah, that's exactly the right number of things that we need in a show. Alright, and just in time. Oh my god. Like, I'm actually on top of this and I might know what the heck I'm talking about. Failing my way upwards. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Missing a thing. All right, good evening, friends and marketeers and all of that wonderfulness. Welcome to the show. We're going to start here in just a few minutes, so feel free to chat it up in the chats down below. We are broadcasting live both on Twitch and on YouTube simultaneously. If you want to see us in glorious HD, do please stop by our YouTube, because we're doing full 1080p YouTube, not so much for Twitch. Let's see, what else do we have? Right, the graphs, we make all the graphs in-house. They're generated here for you painstakingly by computer. There is a whole set of custom tools if you are at all interested in Python and R. Do check out our GitHub at at github.com/eveprosper. The code is mostly open source. It's just that the data is hard to share. So if you're interested in learning more, do stop by our Discord. There are links down below in the doobly-doo, where you can join our Discord and you can talk about Eve stuff and market stuff and real-life market shit posting and Python dev stuff. Like, that's we got a whole community going on. Discord is the very best place to get in touch with me directly. I'm more than happy to talk with you guys directly, DMs and all that goodness. I do love hearing from you guys. Very best place to do so is at our Discord. Second best place is on the Tweet Fleet Slack. There's links on how to join down in the doobly-doo below. That is a great resource if you're looking for a more general sampling of Eve people. It's a much more open community. It has been slowly spinning out into Discords though, so I'm not sure if all the best chats are still super active over there. 2 seconds. I gotta send off a text real quick. Really? Did that not? There it is. Okay. My phone has been really stupid lately. If you enjoy what we do here and you want to keep the lights on, we're going to talk about this once the show starts. But we do have a Patreon. That's the very best way to support us directly. If you wanted to buy me a beer, if you really enjoy what we do here, Patreon is the best way to do so. Again, links are down below. Even $1 goes a very long way. We do manage all of our own custom hardware, and we do a lot of in-house tools development, and we provide this show ad-free every week for you guys, and we can do that thanks to our patrons. So that's the very best way to support us. And I think that's everything in the opening Q&A. I think we covered most of the stuff. The charts are generated with R. The analysis is statistically driven, not technical analysis driven. If you want to talk more about that, we can do so at the end. The show runs about 45 minutes. It starts at the top of the hour. I don't tend to answer questions during the show. We just try to get one big fat takeout, essentially, and just do this all in one go. And then afterwards, we'll do about a 30-minute Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, if you want to talk about anything, that's the time to do so. Do feel free to be active in the chats, though, because I do read them, I do see them, and if I say something terribly wrong, I do appreciate corrections. So that's always useful. And last, right before we go live, be sure to share us with all of your Eve friends. We do try to provide the best economic news, and I know that your gut says you found a secret and you want to share. You don't want to share the super cool trading information, but this show lives and dies by your guys' support. So getting that subscribers numbers moving up and to the right really makes my day. So get your friends tuned in. We're going to talk about a lot of generic market news, less information about the sort of day-to-day trading, because, well, I can't really be everything to everyone. What would be a good idea for one trader is a terrible idea for another. And if I say it live here on the show that like something is an absolutely please buy right now, that's a really dangerous spot for pump and dump. So I try to be really careful with that. But If you're a producer, for instance, you want to know where minerals are going, this is the show for you. If you're in PvP and you're wondering what the hottest ships are, I can help you. I can help you figure that out. If you're just trying to get your hands around some of the more complicated bits of the market and how the pieces go together, that's what this show is here for. So, with that, I think we're almost to time. Subscribe to our. I always forget to pimp one thing. So you'll just have to be a little patient with me. No. All right. I should be out eating wings with my wife, is what I should be doing. I'm getting a guilt trip about it. A small guilt trip. Because I really should be out eating wings with my wife. But instead, I'm talking to you guys. Because you need the market news. And I can only do this on Thursday nights. That's the only time I can make this work. I don't have to compete against any of the major Matani shows. It's in time so that both US and EU get the news before the weekend. I only have either I have to do it Wednesday night or Thursday night. And Wednesday night tends to be too early because then CCP doesn't like to release news until Thursday and Friday anyway. So really, this is the one this is the one time slot I can do this job. If I could be up at the butt crack of dawn, maybe if I could do this at 7 in the morning, my local time, that would be a thing to do. But I don't know if I could go to work after streaming for 2 hours in the morning. Anyway, give me a second to press the buttons, get all of your friends linked into the show. Do feel free to retweet us at Eve Prosper on Twitter. Give me just a moment and we will make this show go. That button? Yeah. Good evening, and welcome to the latest episode of the Eve Prosper Market Show. I'm your host, Lockefox, and I'm here with all of the market news and trends that you need to know going into the weekend. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started where we usually do, and quickly do some show news, and maybe turn down the cheese factor on the voice just a second. So I want to thank everybody who is tuned in live. You can catch this show live on Thursday nights at 0400 Eve time. That is 8 o'clock Pacific. We're live every week, or at least I try to be, with all of the market news that you guys need. If you want to follow us, all you got to remember is Eve Prosper. That'll get you to Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and our blog. I do try to post on all platforms, but longtime fans will know that I am way behind on the blog, so mea culpa on that. If you want to support the show, the very best way to do so is through our Patreon. Patrons do donate a little bit every month, and they do keep this show on the air. We provide this show ad-free, without delay, every week. We do run custom hardware to do all of this. We are running a co-location box. We do use the patron money to keep the lights on around here. And it's a incredible help, and I can't say thank you enough to our patrons. So if you want to support the show, if you get value out of this show, if you just want to buy me a beer, very best way to do so is through Patreon. If you don't want to support us directly or can't support us directly, that is absolutely fine. Do feel free to subscribe, though, because like every good marketeer, I like seeing numbers moving up and to the right. So getting our sub numbers up to ever higher highs is always appreciated. Do share us with your corpies, do share us with your friends, share us with your enemies, spam us in local. Get everybody to tune in live, because I, again, love doing the show for you guys, and I love being here and seeing the numbers go up. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers on Twitter, 1,000 followers on Twitter, and I would really love to do that. Second to last thing, if you aren't getting enough Eve Prosper show here, do feel free to stop by our Discord. Links to join should be down in the doobly-doo below. We have a whole bunch of people there. We're building quite a nice community. And if you want to talk about Eve stuff, market stuff, real life market stuff, developer stuff, our Discord is the place to do it. It's the very best way to get in touch with me, and I do love talking to you guys. So don't be afraid to PM me or DM me, because I do like hearing from you guys, and I do like sharing the news. And then last bit is that I want to thank everybody who has reached out in the last, 2 weeks-ish, about wanting to do more with Prosper, about wanting to contribute to the show. And if you are one of those people, well, I got a couple. If you're thinking of contributing, let me give you a couple pieces. Number one, if you want to contribute directly, what we need is code. I do pay Plex for code, and though I need to get some targets out for you guys to work towards, that is the number one best way to support the show. Number two, I'm not looking to expand Prosper into a network. I understand why people would want that. There's a lot of demand for economic reporting right now, and not a lot of supply. So, what I'd like to do instead is to encourage you guys to step up and start filling in some of those voids. Like, for instance, I just got news that Crota over at Markets for ISK is closing his blog, and he has been a incredible trader. He was doing a lot of the month-to-month economic teardowns along with this show, and it was always nice to get a second opinion for the way things go. And without him here, he will be sorely missed. So if you're doing industrial stuff, if you're doing market stuff, start up a blog, start up a stream, get out there. So before I close this section, after I've prattled on for almost 10 minutes, if you like what I do and are looking for something a little more direct, a little more hands-on, a little more direct for especially the greener players who may not know what the tools are or need help with some of the specifics, I'd like to pimp Mr. Strats. That's Mr. Strats91 on Twitch. He has been doing pretty regular technical analysis streams where he does trading and shipping and arbitrage. And they're really casual. And if you're looking for something more traditionally Twitch and more directly trading stuff, I've enjoyed checking out his stream when I can. So links will be linked in the doobly-doo once we're live on YouTube, but do check out Mr. Strats91 on Twitch. With that, I think I've gone on long enough, left you guys in the lurch for far too long, so let's go ahead and get right into the meat of it. Press the right buttons. And let's go do the things. So first, want to remind everyone that CSM season is upon us, and we do have an official Prosper CSM ticket as of right now. Do check out last week's show. I went a big in-depth into who we chose and why we chose them. I just wanted to get them in front of people one more time. Rodin is, if you would vote for me, you should vote for Rodin. He was doing economic reporting over at the Neocom and is now at EVNT, but they're not really doing economic reporting. He is running a whole industrial trading machine of a corp. If you need economic representation, if you need independent economic representation, Rodin is #1 pick on my ballot. #2, if you are a generalist, if you're a jack of all trades, if you are interested in a lot of the spaces in EVE and do a lot of floating around, Commander A's is my pick for the more generalist among us. I have for a long time been a drifter and a I like doing a lot of different things, and A's is kind of your catch-all for wanting to cover a lot of the bases. So I like Commander A's. He's our #2 pick. And in #3 is Erika Mizune. This is the 3rd time she's running. And the 2 things you need to remember for Erika Mizune is, 1, if you care very much about accessibility, Erika is absolutely your #1 ticket. And #2, she is an industrial powerhouse. She is really a meta leader in the industrial spheres, and she's been a high on my list for the last few years, and I'm hoping that this year is her year. We are still reviewing some other applicants in the field. We're still missing a good API slot for the dev fleet. I had words about Steve last week. We will see if he makes it back onto the list. But this is our Prosper ticket as of right now, this week. Voting does not open for another couple of weeks, I think. So be sure to get studied. And if you're an alpha watching this, I encourage you to go put a Plex in your account ASAP, because as long as you have Omega status once the voting blocks open, you can vote in the CSM election. And I think that's a useful investment in your future if you enjoy EVE and if you want to keep playing EVE in the long term, because the CSM really is one of the best conduits us players have for moving the meta along with CCP. So that's my 2 cents on the CSM here. With that, let's go straight into the reason you guys all tune in. Let's go into Plex. So Plex has been weird. Just like I said last week and the week before that and the week before that and the week before that, we are in an uncharacteristically weak spot with the price not really moving. And I know that this graph looks like there's a good chunk of movement, but like this line is 1 billion and this line is 1.6 billion. Like we're moving maybe 10 million-esque day to day as far as the way things go. Volumes are even a little bit anemic, but what confuses me here is that, and if we zoom out to the 1-year view, we really get the big picture. Is that I expect a lot more cash to be coming into the system. I expect, with as productive as nullsec has been without major wars running at the moment, that a lot of cash should be just moving through the system. And though industrially people are extremely productive, we're not seeing large stockpiles of cash moving around. And so we may finally be seeing that proposal I had a few months back that with everybody going into mining, that we're moving cash into minerals just as fast as we can print it off of the backs of rats. I have a hard time really believing that, because when we looked at last month's numbers, you almost could make that case, but also there was a high active ISK delta, which meant a lot of cash was just leaving for people not logging back in. So I'm having a really hard time understanding why, with as incredibly productive as people are lately, we are not seeing cash come flooding into the market. Because this should be a boom period for industrial activity. This should be the time where you go home and you grind out as much cash as you possibly can, because war is coming, my friends. I don't know when, I don't know with who, but we got to get, we got to get in those fields, and we got to make the things, and we got to get we got to get her done while the sun shines. And I'm not seeing that here in the Plex market. I don't know why people aren't going into Plex. It's extremely strange from my perspective. Zooming in, again, longtime viewers of the show will note that 1,000 units is kind of our magic number. That if we're under 1,000 units on the market, we should expect positive Plex pressure. And we're just not seeing that. It's flat. It's super flat. And it's strange. We're seeing the delta stay relatively stable. We're seeing a little bit of weakness in the buy orders. A little bit of weakness in the buy orders. But I think that's more people recovering from recovering from destroyed citadels and those coming back online, more so than the actual buy pressure evaporating. Zooming in on the rest of the RMT markets, we finally have the big pain in my ass fell off, so we can actually zoom in. We were seeing the skill extractor leading the cash in for new content, just getting a very slight premium over Plex. That premium has shrunk. And again, with this downward pressure, I kind of expect them to move in tandem. I don't expect to see any sort of leading or lagging. There was also the essentially two-for deal that gave you, if you bought a bunch of game time up front, you would get multiple training certificate essentially installed. And I kind of expected that to drive a little bit more pressure out of this than we saw. It just doesn't look like it was that. Doesn't look like it was that successful or popular from the numbers I'm looking at. Next, skill trading is having an absolute boom. Last week I had mentioned that it had popped, and I was expecting that would be short-lived, that I expected any extra margin in the skill trading market to just be backfilled by idle zombie farmers in a couple of days, essentially. But what we're seeing is a protracted slump in supply while demand keeps up. So if you were sitting on Plex and you were frustrated that Plex was not growing, skill injectors are, and this is incredibly interesting, especially as, like I said, especially with Plex being such a dead market at the moment. We're up almost 10% over the last 2 weeks, and I don't know how much higher we can really grow at the moment, because again, if we go back one, we see that we were at 800 ISK per skill point, and we're now at 900 ISK per skill point. I have a really hard time saying that we'll hit anything over 950 ISK per skill point, just because I think that's just too much free money to be allowed to continue. Again, this is kind of looking like a manipulated market, but with as short as supplies are, skill injectors are climbing, and if you were looking to cash out, if you were sitting on a big chunk of skill points you weren't using, this would be super tempting to cash out. Also, if you wanted to vote for free and you had more than 5 million skill points, you could essentially get the Plex for free, plus a little bit of profit for selling that month of skill points out of your brain straight into this market, and you'd be able to basically buy the right to vote by taking out a piece of your brain, which I absolutely love that as a transhumanist thing. That is hilarious. Moving on to our market indexes. Not a lot of news this week. Again, things are quiet. Things are slow. We're seeing a little bit of bump in the RMT markets. I think mostly on the skill trading bump. We see that that's basically this entire bump is on the back of skill trading. We're seeing things stay extremely steady in the material markets. That's PI and minerals and salvage and all that good stuff. And the ship market's finally starting to show a little bit of turnaround, but not as much as we'd like to see. Again, I'd like to be back up at this, what is that, 2 trillion mark, or 1.5 trillion mark. We're about 6% under where I'd like to be. Looking at the total destruction numbers, again, we're seeing lower PvP numbers, the lowest since Ascension, which is a little, well, since Christmas. Since Ascension is probably being a little too dramatic. The again, I'm not as tuned into this as I really should be. It again smells to me of people are working, they're not shooting each other. So a lot of the war fronts just tend to be super quiet, and it's a little disconcerting. For the number going down very slightly, we are seeing value destroyed stay relatively steady. So I guess that's good. It's just sort of a local lull. It's almost as if everyone went to finals and kind of didn't bother to log in. Like that's kind of what this feels like. Moving into minerals, but before we start minerals, I do need to point everyone at the latest post from Fozzie. Looks like we are finally getting some adjustments to the Rorqual. I'm the only one who says it that way. Rorqual. That's the way to say it, like snorkel, I guess. So just a little bit of a breakdown real quick. The excavator drones, so we're in a TLDR, we are lowering the total output. We are decreasing the cycle time so that you get more partial material for your drones being out there. They're adding kill mails to the excavator drones, which is excellent news in my opinion. As a way to incentivize people to be attacking Rorquals. And despite the fact that there's the panic button, you can still get almost a billion-esque a drone off of killing the drones. So I'm looking forward to that incentivizing PvPers. We were talking about this right before the news came out, that like, what would you do to fix it? And that was exactly on my list before this got announced, so that's good to hear. And then another proposed change, which I really like a lot, is that they're going to be expanding the size and shape of a lot of the roid belts, so that you have far away things that regular mining ships could mine efficiently, and clumps of material that Rorqual could easily mine. So you could have your 2 or 3 or 4 or 50 freaking Rorquals, and they could be centered around like the heavy nodes, while traditional mining barges can go out and reach the smaller stuff that might be more valuable, or truly get the efficiency out. You have to mix both. So I like these changes. I'm particularly happy about all of them. There's some consternation about the adjustment to the panic module, so that the battle Rorqual essentially is getting a nerf. But I like this. It's a good change. I'm hoping that it comes out quickly, because every day that goes by with Rorquals running at the current efficiency is more time that it'll take to wash those cheap materials out of the system. When it comes to fountains, whether that's ISK or material or moon goo or what have you, it's a lot easier, economically speaking, to be under than over, because over can take an enormous amount of time to wash out. Longtime players of EVE will remember the Battleship material rebalance, and that took an incredible amount of time to wash out. In fact, there are still vets who have some of those cheap battleships in their holes they just didn't bother to get rid of. Like, there were just millions of those stupid ships made that polluted the market, so that like no normal producer could produce a battleship for years. It was nuts. So with that whole rant, links should be down in the chat, and links will be in the doobly-doo for anybody tuning in not live. Let's get into the news of it. Tritanium, it was down but is tracking up. What I expect to see in the very short term going into this weekend is that we'll see a slight adjustment up in prices. So where Tritanium right now we're looking at under 4.0, I would expect to sort of reset maybe up to 4.2. In the meantime, again, the problem of this is that you can reset, you can use the dev blog to reset the price now, but that doesn't change the fact that for the next 30 days or what have you, the current Rorquals can continue to produce at a much higher rate than they will once the change hits. So I expect this to take a long time to get back to like 4.5 and higher. Zooming in, we can see right after the dev blog, we got right back up to 4.0. Again, this is kind of where I'm putting my 4.2 my 4.2 guess forecast, and supplies are shrinking a little bit, but again, I think this is a trap that unless you're prepared to put a truckload of money down, and you're really prepared to play that 1 or 2% you really need to make this bet work, that I think this is a little bit of a trap. We'll see it maybe shoot up to the 4.25, 4.3, and then come back down and bounce around, in my opinion. Pyrite took a nosedive to 6.0. Sorry, not 6.0, 5.0. On a big bump in supply. Again, same ideas that once the dev blog came out, we see the price reset back to the normal spot it was before the latest dip. We'll see if we keep this, if the 2 billion units missing from the market stay off the market. Then we'll see us back at 6. If they don't, if we get back up to the 6.0, 6.5 billion units level, I think we'll stay under 5.5. So that's where I believe Pyrite is going. This party, unfortunately, this is a bit of a heartbreaker, is that if I had known this was coming, I probably would have told you. But now that the news is over, there's not a lot of play left. And these are expensive markets that really only benefit if you have maxed out skills and you're on the top of your game and you're making sure that your fees are the lowest possible and all you're using every possible advantage. You might be able to still make a buck, but for the general more amateur trader, I would not jump on this. Mexilon has been tracking down just under the 70 mark. Again, we're in such a productive period, and alphas, I think, are still producing a good chunk of Mexilon. We still see supplies stay strong, and I don't really see where this market's going to go per se. There's a slight possibility that supplies will will ebb with the Rorqual change, but most Mexilon is not coming from Rorquals. It's coming from HiSec, and I mean, they can't be in HiSec. So we might actually see the price keep tracking down on Mexilon as the other bonuses that miners might be enjoying come around and see the supply continue to creak up over the 1 billion mark. Next, isogen. My favorite mineral to dump on is under 45. Remember when it used to be 100, like this summer? It is just down, 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 down. And yeah, we continue to see extremely high supplies. Again, we see this reset of once the dev blog came out. Same story we're seeing everywhere else, that we're back to 45 is about as good as you can expect. I still expect to stay at this 900 million units mark, even after everything's said and done. And so I really expect this to stay at 40 in the long term. So again, please don't trade an isogen. If you're really fast and you're watching right now, you might be able to go play the arbitrage between JITA and the other markets. But like, you need to be doing that right this second. And if you're listening to this on YouTube after the fact, this opportunity has passed. Next, Noxium is tracking down, and this one I actually expect to rebound a little bit harder. And this one might actually be a halfway decent gambling opportunity. We're down under 320, down at about the 200 mark, and supplies are extremely strong. But I do expect that with the Rorqual change, that less of this stuff will be coming to market, and I think we can get back over 320, maybe over 340 by the time the new patch hits. It's a risky bet. It is not an easy bet. It would be especially prudent to go put in something in a 250 or a 260 buy order at a Citadel if I were playing this game, just to give myself the largest possible window for success. But I think this has some positive. I think this one could go positive in the next 4 to 6 weeks if you're patient and are willing to do a little bit of extra work. Next is Zydrine, continues to track down. We're back under 1K, like I've been projecting. We're only 3 months late. I am totally good at this. Down at about 900 as of this broadcast, actually 950. Supplies are hot. They should back down, but I expect us to be back down at the 150 mark, which means that wherever the price lands, it'll probably stay there. I think it's going to stay down at 900. We could creak back up to 1K, but I think that's a risky bet, especially with how much Zydrine is still going to be moving around in the system. It's possible, but you'd really have to cross all your fingers and toes and hope that it comes out. I don't feel comfortable telling people to buy in on it. Megasite, similar story, under 1400, still showing downward pressure. Still a lot of this stuff in the supply chain, and even with it coming back down to the 60 million mark, maybe down to the 50 million units mark, we might see some more upward pressure, might get back to 145. Again, I think this is an extremely risky bet. If you have to play in Megasite, the play I would do, and this is a high effort play in my opinion, is again look for setting up these extremely lucrative buy orders. Really try to get in not just at where the best buy order is, like right now it's at 1.3K, but put them down at 125 and 120 in the hopes that we see another one of these dips over the weekend. Again, I think that this play might be a little bit late, but I thought I'd at least explain it. Where instead of just saying, oh, well, I mean, it's 1.3 now, and I just put in the buy order now, and maybe I'll get it on the weekend, it'll be fine. But instead put in, a good sized order of, 50,000 units, 100,000 units at 125, 120, 195. Like put these stop orders in so that if the price crashes, they crash through your orders. And then when the price recovers, which I still expect it to do, I expect to be over 1.4 by the time we're all said and done. We might be at 1.45. We might be at 1.50 if you're super lucky. But I mean, we're talking about, what's that, 1,200. You could almost make 20% if you were really, really good and really, really lucky. Just by playing these speculative buy orders down in this area, rather than just playing what the current play here is. So it's risky, yeah, and to offset that risk, I would also look into moving items around. So you might still be able to catch a few cheap orders in Dodixie, like right this second. So there's still some arbitrage opportunities to help hedge those bets. But like supply chains are so hot right now that you could get a good price, but like if this continues to be at the 80 million units mark, you're just going to be ahead of the curve, and you'll have bought 1.2 megasite 8 weeks ahead of when it actually happened. So, whatever. Last one, Morphite, now solidly under the 10K mark, down at 9K on average. We're still seeing things stay where we expect them. Big dip in buy orders. Again, this is why we put in speculative buy orders, is that as we crash through that floor, you get cheap material, essentially. That's what these buy orders are for, is you don't know when they will execute, but you will be there to catch the good deal, essentially. I think that this is a little bit strange. This looks like somebody getting out of the market more than an actual dump in price. Supply chains are relatively stable. I don't think Morphite's really going anywhere. Now that we're under 9.5K as a buy order, though, actually under 9K as a buy order right this second, you could again fill up those Morphite stocks waiting for the next war. But it's really easy to oversupply yourself in this stuff if you're just looking for the rainy day fund. I mean, like I've said, I think that sub 10K Morphite is a good buy. It's a good rainy day slush fund. War will come around again one day, whenever that is, and you stand to make a pretty profit for doing so. You can get your 10, 20, 25% for the privilege. You just don't know when. And like this is super tempting if I were buying in. But like if it were me, I might be doubling my Morphite supply and really taking on extra liability, because how the heck do I get rid of all of it? Seeing as there are 5 million units on the market right this second, and a daily traded volume of about 2 million units. Like if you were holding more than 1 million units of Morphite, for instance, you might start to have a bad time getting cashed out, is my point. Moving on to fuel. Fuel isotopes, again, are tracking up. We're seeing, again, a huge spike in nitrogen, again, on the backs of Delve, most likely, with a lot of moon reprocessing happening, a lot of moon refining going on. We still see the complete dumping of helium isotopes, though, again, don't look at the last day. That's a bug. The prices keep tracking down. Otherwise, we were expecting Burn Jita this last weekend, but there was drama and I didn't really see anything. It might have got delayed or postponed, or it was lol, just a joke, guys. I don't know. So this is, again, I would just keep on business as usual until Burn Jita shows up, and then look to collect the pieces the week after as pent-up supply shows up. So Interesting enough, nitrogen isotopes took a huge jump up. Again, this might be Berne-Gita manipulation, the one hand washing the other. We saw a huge dip in supply. We've been seeing this over and over and over again. I actually expected it to stay steady at the 250, 300 million units mark. But it looks like it really got extra bought out over the last couple of weeks. We're seeing that subside, though, this week, and the prices should come back down towards 750. Again, a decent chance to make a quick buck on opportunistic buy orders in the 725, 750 range. But I expect this to be back down at 750 in the next 2 weeks. Again, zooming in on fuel blocks versus build costs. Again, I don't know why anybody's building fuel blocks anymore. It's a losing proposition. You're making no money. If you're still building fuel blocks, please tell me why. Because I think that a lot of you guys are in a mined minerals are free problem at the moment, where you could be making more money, or you could just have your time back by not building. Now, again, I cook in an amount for the build fees, but even if you had free build fees, like, there's no margin here. This is a losing proposition. Stop making fuel blocks for cheap. Next, strontium, which is our canary in the coal mine for SOV warfare. Nothing going on here. Really strong supply. So strong as to wonder if we're going to see prices slump under the, 7.5K at the moment. So I'd keep an eye on that if you wanted to speculate. Heavy water continues to spike. I was corrected in the previous weeks that this is less going into combat bards and more going into mining bards. So I find that particularly interesting, that the price of the mining charges continues to go up and nobody cares. So line values the same as start line values. Yeah, I know. I got a problem. I got to go fix a bug. It's a code problem. But thank you. That's actually probably what it is. So with that, let's go out into outlier analysis. I should make a graph. Let me go put a note together about I don't know if I'm collecting the data on the new charges. I really should be, but I might not be. I should go check that. Outlier analysis. Let's go talk about outliers. Start where we usually do, in the advanced material markets. Without Tech 2 really thriving, there's not a lot to talk about here. Interesting to see the metamaterials getting so weak. This has been that's a personal spot I've liked to speculate in the past. But I think we're just at a point where there's more productivity than demand at the moment. So we're going to keep seeing those prices slump. Mid-levels looking relatively steady. Nanotransistors are a bit higher than I'd expect. The high end for ionic condensates and ferrogel, I think, are coming down in the next couple of days. But, just not a lot to talk about in these markets. PI4, we talked about this last week. So 2 weeks ago, I said I thought we were going to go into a slow oversupply. And coming into last week, we saw a bump in a lot of the markets, especially organic mortar applicators, recursive computing modules, self-harmonizing power cores, all had a decent bump in productivity. But prices are down again. Now, if you're a betting man or person, the mining platforms are starting to leak out. There was a picture of the render yesterday, I think. DevBlog is supposed to be out, quote unquote, any day now. These markets are in a really good spot to jump in, make a quick bet, with nothing to lose, and just jump in for like a Friday dev blog or a next week dev blog, and be out of this the weekend after, once everybody goes nuts about the mining platforms. It's risky, yeah. You won't get super rich, you won't get super genius status, but like sterile conduits are particularly low, especially if you're buying on buy order. Organic mortar applicators, there's a lot of really lucrative buy orders going on right now. And you could basically swoop in at the last second, get a nice big payout, cash out as soon as the dev blog hits or the weekend after the dev blog hits, and be out of this. Make your 10 or 15% really super easy at this point, because it looks like, again, there's a bit of oversupply in the market. There's a lot of, again, industrial productivity going on at the moment, and you can capitalize on that. Get on the dev blog hype, get out before everybody else comes and crashes the market. Again, I think you can make 10 or 15%, but I don't know if you'll make 20 is kind of what I expect here. Moving on to regular old items, drone coronary units. So let's say that you like tinfoil. Let's say you thought that rorquals were going to get nerfed. It sure is suspicious that 4 or 5 days before the forum post hits, we see a dumping of price as the prices come down. It's probably not that, but I always love indulging in a little bit of tinfoil. It sure is fun. This is suspicious. After keeping steady, yeah, I can totally understand that. Staying at the what's that, 10 million ISK unit, that'd be, yeah. But expecting a Rourke nerf in March, somewhat suspicious. This would be good tinfoil bait. I don't know if I fully believe it, but I can't not chew the tinfoil with you guys. Next, cinnables are extremely valuable at the moment, even though we're seeing a huge buyout of these things. I'm not sure why specifically. We're talking about going from about 50 units sold a day to about 100 units sold a day. So I guess huge buyout is relative. But it's become a popular ship in the last week or so. I don't know if this got a recent thing on Zkill, or if or some YouTuber is pimping it as an amazing ship. I mean, I understand why it's popular. I want to say it has the warp speed bonus. God, show how out of touch I am. Popular pirate cruiser. But prices are high. If you were holding on to them, this would be a good chance to sell out. I don't know if I'd jump in yet, but there might be some buy order stuff you can play. You can play some wide buy order spreads is what I'd go look for. Next, the Curator. This is the drone. Yeah, okay. I know what I'm doing. We don't want to talk about this. I lied. Next is the Curse. The Curse, it was spiking way up. This looks again like the thing I talked about for the last couple of weeks, where a not very popular ship suddenly becomes either extremely popular, like you need a whole bunch of them, or one of the suppliers kind of drops out. Again, this is an opportunity if you're on top of the ball to catch this in overcorrection as it goes under the 200 million mark. I'd be aiming for a 175 personally, just because I don't think I really want to jump in on that. Chad is saying that it might have been popular for skins, but this looks like a supply, like the supply sort of fell out more than anything. And the Cinnabole might be skins. That might be it. Maybe. I'll have to go look. So what I'd be looking for here is an overcorrection down under the 200 million mark. I'd prefer under the 180 mark if I could get it. And because again, all the other signs say that the prices should be trending slightly downwards. But you could still play that 180 to 200 spot right there if you were particularly bold. Last, I think, on our list, only because I find it interesting, it's usually an extremely steady product. Energized Adaptive Nanomembrane 2s, or ENAMs, were in a bit of a shortage a couple weeks ago. And now the prices have become unstable. It looks like the prices spiked. A whole bunch of industrialists changed their recipes, jumped in on the market, and we're going to see a little bit of fluctuation. I think that this spike is over at the moment, but if you were sitting on a chunk of these things, just, you know, I happen to be sitting on a whole chunk of these things because I used to do fitted ship contracts, and I just have enams coming out my freaking ears. This might be a decent chance to get rid of them. It's a local maximum. I don't think there's a speculation opportunity, but there is a I have too much crap in my garage opportunity here. Last section we go into is our prediction review, where we figure out if I know what the hell I'm talking about. First, we're actually going to break form here. Number one, I didn't know that there was a meat popsicle item. That's cool. That's funny. Today I learned you can have a meat popsicle for, you know, we all identify as meat popsicles. Not super interesting. Only like 5 of these sell a day. It's just a weird commodity. I laughed. And then by request from Commander A's, wanted to go look at the ARC, which is tracking up. I think, again, this is a small local phenomenon. I don't think this is a market-wide reset in prices. So if you're sitting on ARCs, you'd be aiming to sell maybe at 8 billion. We might get there. I don't know if we'll actually get there. Otherwise, I think things are relatively stable. Again, looking at the rest of the moon material forecast out there, I kind of expect prices to slide a percentage point or two. But yeah, we just haven't seen as much action in the jump freighter markets as we used to. And then the actual last section, because I lied, where we go through the violence report. So we look at this week's popular kills. We're back to relatively normal levels. It's interesting to finally see the Rourke on this list. It's been popular, as we see by the, well, may not see, it's the teal line right there, that it's not been dying a whole lot, but actually, yeah, this graph is bad. I need to go put it on. I need to go through the brewer thing and put a better color palette on this. But again, we're back to the normal mix. The Astero is a little bit interesting, as high as it is. The Gila, the Macarial, and the Proteus, again, we've seen those every week. The Vexor Navy issue back on the radar is good to see. Next, for popular systems, again, Auga is a popular destination for PvP lately. Looks like it might be losing some steam in the last couple of days. Jita, we expected, again, if Burn Jita actually happened, this kill count should be about twice what it is, and it's not. We should also see places like Uedama and Nyarja on this list, and we don't. So no Burn Jita this week. Maybe it's this weekend. I don't know. I find it weird that it just sort of didn't happen, but I guess that's the hype machine. And then last, we look at our regions. Providence is an interesting addition. We usually, I don't think we've seen Providence on the activity list before now. But Placid, Black Rise, Ketch, and Citadel, these are kind of expected. I would love the numbers to be a little bit higher than they are right now. We're talking at about 1,000 ships a day killed. I'd really like that at about 1,500 ships killed a day. But what can you do? I can't make you go explode things. You should go and explode things. So With that, I'm going to go ahead and end this show. If you're tuned in live, do keep tuned in. We will have a 30-minute Q&A session afterwards. If you want to tune in live, the very best way to do so is through Twitch or YouTube. We stream it full 1080 on YouTube at 0400 on Thursday nights. That's Friday. On Friday at 0400. That's Thursday night U.S. time at 9 p.m. Pacific. We're here every week. If you want to follow the show, the very best way is to get subscribed to Eve Prosper at Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and our blog. If you want to get in touch with me, if you want to talk about market stuff, whether that's real-life market stuff or Eve market stuff, if you like Python as much as I like it, come drop by our Discord. Links to join should be down in the doobly-doo below. If you want to support the show, if you get value out of this show, the very best way to support us is through our Patreon. We are here ad-free, week over week. No delays in trying to get you the content that you need to go make ESC. And we're here thanks to our patrons. So our patrons keep our server bills paid, our license bills paid, they keep ads off the content, and they keep this show on the air week over week. So if you want to support us, if you like what we do, if you just want to buy me a beer, the very best way to do so is through our Patreon. And with that, and then last and certainly not least, if you cannot support us monetarily, that is absolutely fine. I completely understand. Do get subscribed, though, because like every good market person, I like seeing numbers going up and to the right. So get our subscribe numbers up. I would really love to get the Twitter followers up to 1,000. So I'd feel like that account was finally part of the Tweet Fleet proper. So Eve Prosper on all the platforms. Come check us out. I have been your host, Lockefox. This has been the Eve Prosper Market Show. We will be back next week with all the new market news. That's the period. And we stop that. All right. All right. I remember to press all the buttons. I said all the things. I think I remembered how to do my job this week. Oh, and it seems see, I gotta read the content faster. It seems that Burn Jita was canceled because code got cleaned out. I did see the code get cleaned out. I kind of thought that it was a scam. Like, oh no, guys, we got totally cleaned out. Yeah, no, we can't possibly do a thing. Oh no. Because it's code. Like, I expect them to lie. But, Noisy Gamer is saying that they lost 500 billion. So, I guess it's legit. Sorry, code. You really should have had a license to have that much stuff. Should have bought some protection for your protection. And 1,000 puppies in HiSec cheered. So that's funny. We'll see if Burn Jita comes back around. I don't have a lot of faith. I know they try to keep it a secret, but, like, I'll know the day after they do it. Like, they'll get to kill a bunch of people on day one, and then the news will be out. Like, it's not... They're not spy masters. There's 10,000 of them. Like... It's fine. Oh, lordy. Every time goons do it, like, the bigger the general pop gets, the less impact Goons can, like, the goons can't really do it the way that they used to. Like, yeah, the Galente ice interdiction hurt because they could get focused on it and it made sense to do so, and like they had the game mechanics on their side and a whole bunch of board nerds to get to work. But then, like, the Caldari ice interdiction doesn't work because the map is not on your side, the mechanics aren't on your side. Bernjita, yeah, was great the first time, and they had a great second year. Turning the event into more than just a weekend. But like Bernjita and Hulkageddon were funded through OTEC, if I'm not mistaken. And so, like, do they really want to burn that much cash? They could. There's nothing stopping them from doing it. Like, I'm all for the lulz, but like the number of people that they can bring to bear and get paid and do the thing, like, when instead, what would you rather be doing? Would you rather be carrier ratting or Rorqual mining or in HiSec doing the thing? And you can get a bunch of HiSec guys to do the Ministry of Love thing, but I don't think you can bring to bear the way it used to. So okay, well, but the biggest Hulkageddon was paid by OTEC. So I mean, it's fine. I mean, I'd love to see it, because destruction drives the economy. Like, murder is good for business. I quote Lockefox: "Murder is good for business." And I want to see it, but I don't have faith. I just don't. With the way the things are going, I think people are there's a lot of material moving around and not a lot of pew pew. So, Well, Sven, I would love to see 1-to-1 production destruction. I think we get to 2-to-1. We're usually north of 3-to-1, and we're probably at 4 or 5-to-1 right now. I'm okay with 3-to-1. Just because I think there's enough washing through where just like activist delta goes away, because people stop logging in and that cash doesn't get counted anymore. You have to think of the items the same way, and so you do need better than parity regardless, or else you're going to end up in an unstable growth. But yeah, like recently we've been at 5 or 6-to-1, and it's all going into super production, which I'm not in a position to really say what's good for the game, right? Like, I am economy stats man. I tell you what's interesting about the game. And like, all things are possible with economics. You just have to be willing to pay for it. Like, you want all the Mexicans to go away. Well, you just crash the American economy, and we won't have Mexicans in the country anymore because there won't be any jobs for them. This isn't the answer we want to hear, but it's the answer that will get you the desired outcome. And like, I feel the same way about the material, the way material is going at the moment, is that, yeah, you can have two or three times more minerals coming into the market, but like, alphas aren't going to have alpha. You're risking burning alphas because the ISK per hour for HiSec mining gets so bad. You risk having super proliferation at a level that may not be able to be undone without some huge nerfs. And maybe that's Fozzie's big master plan, is that we'll triple or quadruple the number of supers in the game, and then we'll half all the EHP, because lol, everybody has one, who cares. And I don't know. It's I don't like doing value judgments on the state of things. I'd rather tell you what's interesting, why it's doing it, and let the forum warriors fight it out. So Sven is asking if I were going to speculate now on the new mining platforms and changes to moon mining, where would I go? Number one is, again, I think it's a great time right this second to buy PI4s if you're not already bought in, especially if you're doing lucrative buy orders. I think those will pop right when right after the dev blog hits. So you basically get to sit on them for 1 or 2 weeks. Dev blog comes out, you get to make your 15 or 20%, and get out the weekend after the dev blog. Everybody else gets to go, oh no, way too much of this stuff is actually in reserve, whatever, and the price goes all over the place. But you get to sit at home counting your cash. That's the play I would do, like right this second. For a longer term speculation, I don't think I'm going to get what I want out of the moon mining. I have pitched this idea for years, and I don't think anybody ever hears me talk about it. Is that I personally want to see moon supply the moon supply chain cut in half in rough numbers. That after all of the ship rebalancing that Fozzie's done, and now that we have the wide rainbow of ships and tactical options, Tech 2 is not the top of the meta anymore, and it's not, it's a useful tool, but it's not the be all end all it was when we were talking about OTEC. It's not the same as it was in Odyssey or in whatever the one we did. We blew up the statue for, and it's like, I want to see the values, the outcoming values halved. And like my perfect equation is one where moons deplete on something like depletion might not be the right word, but they deplete on something like an 8-week or 12-week, something on an 8 to 12 week cycle, where you tap a new moon and you might get 4x or 8x yields to start, and then it tapers off exponentially, and then you sit at 0.25x after 8 weeks or 12 weeks or something like that, so that the supply chain can become more dynamic is what I'd really like to see. I'd like to see alchemy actually be a useful mechanic again, because I think that makes that market so interesting, and there's just not enough stuff to go. There's just not enough stuff to go around. There's nothing to be done with it. Is that you sweep in, a few moons change hands, and we all pat each other on the butts after a game and whatever. And I want to see it more dynamic. I want to see space go fallow from too much use. And these are the things I want to see, but I don't think we're going to get it. I don't believe my vision is shared. I definitely know that nobody in nullsec wants it my way. They recoil and hiss every time I talk about depletion. But TLDR, I want about half whatever the moon supply is today would make me happy. Yeah, so Sven is saying that he doesn't want to see all the mining platforms get the timers the way that Citadels and ECs do. And I agree. I'm hoping that they are much more lightweight. That we're talking about, hundreds of millions of ISK, or maybe 1 billion at the largest sizes, rather than the tens of billions or hundreds of billions we're talking about in Citadels. I would like to see more diversity there, and I've made pitches about things I want to see in mining. I don't think we'll see them, but like, I don't know. COOK is asking on YouTube, have I seen any increase in the purity in cold iron skins? I don't watch the skins markets. I specifically have them filtered out of our data analytics because too much of it doesn't hit the market. That it's a really hard set of items for us to track with the tools we have. Yeah, I'm hoping that we see stuff that's closer to the way the little structures you drop, like the little mobile depots. I'm hoping that they work a lot more like that for the smaller stuff, and maybe closer to the way POSs work today, so that there might be invulnerability timers, but you can get them done in like 2 days rather than a week. We'll see. When it comes to the strategic part of it, I have a hard time getting an opinion because I'm really bad at balancing that thing. What I want is to see is to see the supply chain. I want to see the supply chain get more interesting. I want more action in that market. I want to see T2 get shook up because supply chains are getting screwed up, not just because demand is going on. And I want to see a lot more of these things die so that they fuel the PI4 markets. So this is what I want to see. I don't know. Like, I don't have a ton of faith in seeing it my way. Because, well, the CSM doesn't call me about things. They just take away my monthly economic report and make me mad. Let's see. I want it my way. I have opinions about things. Kerry Killingsworth is asking if I've seen backlash about the monthly economic numbers nerf. I mean, everywhere I saw, most people are willing to say, we're standing up and saying, no, this is stupid. But and I'm personally running out of tolerance for a lot of the devil's advocate people, because I'm so fucking tired of everything having a devil's advocate. So part of it is that I'm of a biased tilt that I'm pro data, right? Like, one, the show needs it, right? The more data I can get, the better this show is. So I mean, I'm biased there. Two, IRL, I am pro data. So when it comes to public data streams, I think they should all be open. I think that, this is the sunlight that you need to be able to stop some of the really slimy data science going on out there, because we're getting into a whole new age of shitty data science, and I don't think a lot of the general public is prepared to do what it is prepared for the kind of quackery that you can really pull off with a PhD. Like, talk about, the shit that they pull on like Fox News is amateur hour compared to a lot of the p-hacking techniques. Like, whatever, reproducibility crisis be damned. So like, you're already 2 hits in on things I want are public data, and I don't want to give any of it up. And you can pry it from my cold, dead fucking hands. Also, I really don't agree with a lot of the national security bullshit about how many secrets we really need to have, and that about 10% or less of what is top secret and national security is really actually worth it, as opposed to the 90% of shit that just is like, oh, we probably shouldn't let anybody look at this. It might be a thing, or it might not be a thing. Like, I want data to be open. I do not like things being hidden. This is my idea of daylight in the 21st century. So, and it's a boost to nullsec when they're already making more money than God. They don't need another fucking boost. So, So I mean, I've made my opinions known on this. I've talked to Steve. He doesn't fucking believe me. I was on Dirk's show last week, and he was just trying to be riling. And everybody wants to dogpile on me like it's my fucking responsibility to prove why I need, why I shouldn't lose data. And I'm like, because it's a free boost to nullsec. Like, this isn't hard. So, yeah, I think a lot of players need to remember that nullsec, though the largest, most coordinated group, is not all of Eve. It accounts for less than half, maybe even less than that. I don't even know. And just because like they want some OPSEC means that pubbies and HiSec just have to deal with it. Like, Balrogs, no changes on Plex, but go look at the skill injector market. That's where all the action is this week. And thank you, Sven, for the Saturday morning breakfast cereal, because yes. So, like, I mean, I'm already a partisan, and I'm already wound up from fucking IRL politics. So, like, whatever. If it's entertaining, if me ranting about it is entertaining, I guess then it's not a whole loss. But, like, for fuck's sake, I need the data. I need the data, and I need it high resolution as I can get it, to give you guys the forecasts that make this show great. Nerfing the monthly economic numbers is nerfing the show, so I have to fight it. But the number of shits I can really muster is capped, right? Like, do I fight for spaceship internet data, or do I write do I write to my Congress people, or my state house? So fucking sick of it. I am so out of fucks. I'm so sick of playing devil's advocate with everyone, like somehow the opposite of every time. There's always two sides of goddamn everything. This is how we get vaccines cause autism. It's because there's two sides. There's always two sides. More questions. We got another 15 minutes before I got to jump off the air. Feel free to ask your questions, or I'm going to rant. Internet spaceships are the most serious of business. Oh, I did forget one thing. I am one of my bosses at work. His son is playing Eve, and he's out in test. And I'm like, I'm sorry for your loss. He's like, oh, I was thinking of coming back and playing, on an alpha, and I just need to find a corp of, like, cool people. And I'm like, oh, God, who the hell do I send my boss to? Which one of you guys won't embarrass me in front of one of the founders of the company? So if you know a cool place for older dudes that might be low sec, might be a little bit of null sec, who aren't serious business, I would love to send them to my old corp, but we don't talk about Aderon anymore, do we? Yes, Sven, get out. Get out. I told him about Signal Cartel. He seemed a little when I told him about the nonviolence. Yeah, well, I can't talk to Ashtarothi anymore. Um, I love faction warfare. More Losec is my home, but Ashtarothi can eat a big bag of crap. So yeah, he is from Seattle. He's an old school Microsoft guy. Um, I think he was put off when I told him how militant you guys get about reviewing kills. Uh, Probably might not be a bad block for him actually. Probably's a good idea. So yeah, Provy's a really good idea. I should go ask friends in Provi. Like if I had time to be back in the game, I'd be back. I'd be in Signal Cartel because those guys rock. And that's definitely my shtick. There are a lot of cool devs in there, and like that's the thing I want to see. But yeah, sorry, Aderon bros, but me and Ashtarothi aren't friends anymore, and I can't send somebody there because the last thing I want to fucking hear about is goddamn Ashtarothi. And one of these days, I'll go publish the logs as to why we're not friends anymore. But I missed my good chance to do that, and so now I just have to sit on them and be all bitter, hold my grudge forever. I almost let a little bit slide out earlier this week because people are poking the hydrostatic account, and hydrostatic is not coming back. I'm sorry to break everyone's hearts. It's not coming back. Elemental Tide. He knows what he did. you can call me you can call me an asshole or whatever, but he knows what he fucking did. I really should have got him. Like I really should have come out when he did the whole "I'm quitting talking in stations to go find myself" bullshit, and I should have posted the chat logs then. But I missed my chance because I thought he was going to run for CSM, and that was the chance because I wanted to see him do an Ask Me Anything, and I could be like, why are you such a dickhole? But he didn't do that. He didn't run for CSM. He's not going to run for CSM. He never will run for CSM again. But so bad plan on my part. I just have to sit here and stew in my grr spaceship drama. I think he's out in Iridia. Like he's out all the way out there. In one of the weird low sec regions that nobody's out in. But like he's the kind of guy who plays for 2 months and then goes away, and he just wants to show up, do fleets, chat on comms, and go to bed. So yeah, I'll have to go do some corp shopping for him. I know. A lot of people liked hydrostatic. I liked hydrostatic, but things happened. And anyway, we lost Phi. He's never coming back to Eve. So, and he did all the work. So it isn't just that me and Ash are going to have a knockout brawl at one point. It's that we also lost number 3 for IRL reasons. So yeah, he's not coming back. I know. I got to go listen to Aze's interview because I so this is me being shitty. I told anybody who came to me directly for endorsement that I need you to join the I Hate Ash Club. And I sent them the logs of the thing and like go give him a shit like. So A's delivered. I haven't had a chance to go listen, but. Yeah, I'm bitter. I'm a bitter old person. And watch, somebody's going to watch 90 minutes of this show, finally go see the, why, what's going on? Oh my god, start the forum war. And I'm going to be like, I don't give a shit. I don't log in. Like, what are you going to do? And if you show up to my thing and start like shitting up my chat, I'm just going to ban you. Like, I can call my garden. Like, I don't know. I don't even know anymore. I've been so busy IRL with 1,000 things, having friends come through town. The work is busy. I've got so many things to work on, and whatever. I can be space homeless. That's fine. We live in the weirdest timeline. I hope everybody realizes that. Oh my god. Anyway, so 5 minutes. We got 5 minutes. Any more questions? Any more hints, tips, tricks, bets? I don't know. I do need to go do a round of bug hunting and fixing on the stuff. I do need to sit down and do a big dev push. Unfortunately, the thing I want to work on is natural language processing, and I don't have a way to make that Eve. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, Firebrim was asking about CA1s. We can look at those. I have the power. Stop. That button. No, not that one. That one. Where are they? We're just gonna play the where's the graph game. There we go. I mean, the prices are high, but they're not that high. Do I have the full zoom in? I don't know if CA1s are in the list. They are not on the list. So I wonder if they got pulled from if they're just not getting pulled in the career starter packs. That might be the problem. But like I would expect a lot more action on that than we're seeing. Like this just looks like a local shortage. Like again, we're not seeing as much of the Plex conversion with players coming in. I mean, I know we're looking at the here. Where can I get the picture, the draw? I mean, yeah, we're looking at it right there. But I mean, we were at 150 and we're now at 175. So, and we were at 125. Like, we just seem to be on a reasonable stair step. But we're also not seeing anything happening in the CA2s, which should also be coming out of those starter packs. So I don't know. Like that's the weird part here is that these two should be in lockstep with each other, and they're not. So I don't know if it's just a popular meta for a fistful of people. I don't know if we're just not seeing the conversion in for new players coming in. Like, I don't have a good answer right now. And since I don't have the zoom in, I can't tell you if the if the supply chain is screwed up, for instance. Christopher Mellon over in YouTube is asking how likely is a super nerf. We might see something at FanFest. There's non-zero odds of it. But I wouldn't actually expect anything meaningful to change in supers until next fall. Like, I think that there's going to need to be a whole new design review. The new CSM is going to have to weigh in on it. They're going to want to not change anything. Fozzie's just going to have to come down and do something crazy. Like, again, I'm just hip shooting on the half EHP thing. Just because with as much extra proliferation, like, the hope is that like, again, putting on my tinfoil hat, or calling myself CCP Lockefox.
Until death do you part.
What the shit?
Avoid irritating lens face.
What the fuck? I don't even know which window is making that noise, and that is pissing me off. What the fuck? I have no idea what's making the noise. Oh, maybe it's this. Okay, well, the sound's gone now. So, I mean, the hope is that if I were CCP Lockefox and I went ahead and said, okay, we're doubling minerals, it's going to half the price of supers. We're going to see a whole lot more of them out on the thing. Landing both that and the ECs together means that you're going to see a lot more supers out in the world. What I'd hope is that if things were going correct and didn't need any more intervention, then they just become a new rung on the engagement ladder, and you start seeing them die in such higher concentrations that it just becomes another big capital loss. It just becomes a heavy capital loss, which I think the market can sustain. Like, I think this is an okay proposition. I just think that it's also an opportunity to adjust some mistakes and say, look, we've doubled the number of these things, but we're not seeing a doubling in the kill rate. We're nerfing your EHP, or we're nerfing your output, or we're changing you to a more strategic role, so that you can't, do all of the crazy whatever metas. And yeah, again, I'm not a super strategic mind, right? Like you come to me for you come here for market news. As what exactly needs to be done for ships, I'm not really an EFT wizard, so these was just sort of the hip shots I've got going on. Sven in Twitch is saying Capri Sun wrote something about super proliferation, and I want to. Is that on Crossing Zebras? Because if it's on Crossing Zebras and it's 4,000 fucking words, I swear to God. They write such giant. Also, I mean, you shouldn't be so surprised that I'm on INN. I mean, I'm friends with Matterall and Dirk. So I don't know if I'm going to go back on Dirk's show again, though, because I'm not enough of a drinker. The first hour is fine, but the second hour is a pain in the ass. I like him. He's a good guy. He's a cool bro. But I can't drink like that. And I like it's the reason we don't have drunk shows. So market report's over. It should be on YouTube in 15 minutes. So sorry. Yeah. That's a lot of words, but we'll go check it out. Yeah, again, I'm not a nullsec member, so I don't have the boots on the ground perspective. I have the 10,000 mile above view as a pubby independent analyst. So, and I mean, a drunk market show would be okay if I was a technical analysis show. And I mean, go ask Mr. Strats about that if that's what you really want. I just there's specific when we made Hydrostatic and when I made Prosper, I very specifically one of the top 5 things on how we do it is that I was so fucking tired of 90% of the podcasts in Eve being 3-hour drunk ranting bro fests. I can't. If you like those shows, if you like your high drags and your open comms and your whatevers, more power to you. I get it. You can fill your time however you want. I cannot stand listening to those shows, and so I very specifically made this show, and when we started Hydrostatic, made that show saying, look, we are serious. We have a time slot. We are going to take about this much time to do it. We're going to have decent production values, and we're going to treat this seriously. So I'm not that entertaining drunk. I just want to go to sleep. I'm not super funny. I'm just going to puke my guts out. I'm not enough of an alcoholic. So I'm sorry. Maybe when my wife's out of town, I might be able to do a high stream, but that's again going to be really boring because I can ever think of one thing at a time, and I just get super boring and quiet. These are not entertaining. It'd be interesting if I could get a group together. I kind of want to go and bug Caleb and company about getting the Blue Horseshoe thing maybe a little bit better situated, so we can have a more conversational show where that might be a little more entertaining. But yeah, I'm not enough. I can't do the drunk thing. Oh, and I'll never be on the meta show. I'm never going to get invited to that. I might get, I don't know. If Matani's super sober and he suddenly needs me, I don't know why he'd call me when he has Earth. I mean, it used to be I couldn't make open comms because it was right before this show. And I'm more than happy to go do a certain amount of press circuit to get more viewers into this show. That makes an amount of sense when it comes to brand building. And I don't mind. I'll guest on almost any show, as long as I have a segment. We've gone to the show notes and we make sure I have a segment, and I'm just not just sitting there going hot takes at whatever the guys are saying. If we're actually in there, I've been on Declarations of War several times. I've done a lot of the press circuit before. So I'm more than happy to guest almost anywhere because I don't have to do the edit. It's easy for me. But I don't enjoy the broadcasts. I don't get anything out of them. Open comms is a tier above bro, in my opinion. First hour is actually usually very good. But the second hour the alcohol consumption goes up, and it turns into meme lords, and it's funny-ish. It's not my bag. Like, I keep ending up in this, like, I don't like it, but you should not like it thing. Like, I had a whole rant a few weeks ago about sysadmins and how much I love my sysadmins, but I never want to do their job. I hate their fucking job. I love the people who do it. I hate their job. And it's a similar thing. It's the same, like, if you enjoy it, more power to you. Like, they have an audience and they're successful, and, you know, Dirk's a great guy most of the time. And whatever. But, like, the number one hint, if you ever wanted to go be space famous, if you think you like this show and you can do it as good or better than me, you probably can. It's just a matter of going out and doing it, and you make the show you want to see. And Prosper is the show I want in my feed. So, and that's why I do it, is that I did not see shows that I wanted to watch. DeLone Wolf was close. But, like, this show exists because there was nothing like it, and I wanted it. So, and no one else is going to do it for me. So that's why we're here. And I still posit that there's plenty of room that, like, if you wanted to go into hardcore technical analysis, if you wanted to go day trading and make it like a 3 days a week thing where you're like, oh, well, looking at this crossover, we should buy this thing and we should ship it to Amar, and oh, look, we're 20% up. Like, haha, let's go look at the progress bar on Eve Mogul. Like, I still posit like, that would be a good show, and it could be done, but I'm not doing it because I don't have the time to do it. It's not really the meta I want to do. Because I'm way more in it for the programming and the statistics. But, like, that is a show that could get decent traction, especially if you were focused on industry stuff and you could say, oh, well, this is what we're building this week. This is why we're building it. I think there's a lot of space in the meta for blogs like that right now. Like, there is just, it's a very dry field right now, where it's me and DeLone Wolf and Mr. Strats producing real regular content, with Rodin homeless at the moment for publishing, and Caleb is kind of in and out. Like, there's a lot more space for more economic shows. And I am more than happy to come here and pimp your show or your blog or whatever, because it takes some time to get over that critical mass. Like, getting through that first 10 blogs is hard. But I think it's worth it. I like reading it. I want to see more of the content out there, but I can't be making it. My time in Eve is coming to a close. My space retirement is on the horizon, and I want to make sure that other people are empowered to do more content, because I can't be the only person this crazy. I hope I'm not the only person this crazy. But it just takes a lot of time. It takes it takes a bit of active time. It takes a lot of dedication time, like, that you've done it for over and over and over again. Stats be damned. And Dead Minds is... sorry, I didn't get back to your question, Dead Minds. The difference between Talking in Stations, Open Comms, and all those. They all have different origins. Like, Open Comms has been around for years and years, and they came from Eve Radio. Talking in Stations has... Oh, I want to say he's been trying to get that... He's been running that thing for a little over 2 years. It was originally started over at Eve News 24, and it followed Matterall because he wanted to have a more serious news show. Declarations of War has been on and off forever because Alexiev Card wanted to talk about the Merc contracts they did. I always loved the old episodes. Silicon Buddha is back, last I heard. I'm not sure what he's doing, but I mean that's at least cool. Old school name. But like you don't get an audience overnight. None of this success, none of this platform was built, just showed up. It was week after week after week after week. And even though the show we're on episode 86 this week. And even though the show has been around for almost 2.5 years, I was writing the blog since like 2011. I worked for TMC in 2013 and 14, I think, to help build that brand. Like, this took time, and it was because there was a type of content I wanted to have out there. That I liked reading blogs like that. Like I aspired to be like Ripper Teg. There's no way I could ever write as many blogs as he did. And really get into like the nitty gritty of stuff and really talk about like the facts and the mechanics and really be a fact-based hardcore journalism thing. And it took a lot. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does. You know, you don't get above zero as long as you don't do it, you're still going to have zero. Like, you have to go do the stuff, and you have to do it for yourself. Like, this show exists because it's what I wanted to see. And no one else was doing what I wanted in the Metasphere. And we started with like 10 audience members. We took a long time to get to that 1,000 subs and that 2,000 subs. And I don't think we're going to get above 3. I think that's really the reach of this show without breaking out of Eve. I don't think we can get above 3,000. And that's fine. I'll never beleaguer that. Like, I like what we have, I like where we are, and I've done it because I had to do it. And I think other people can do it. I don't think it's that hard. I think that there's a lot of interesting content that could be made that is not being made, and a lot of new creators need to step up to the bat and do the new round of tools, do the new round of reporting. I think there's a lot to learn, and there's a lot of really interesting stuff out there. So that's my rant on making stuff. Go make stuff. Make stuff for yourself. Share it with people. They will think it's cool. You're underestimating. You're overestimating how much people might hate it. if you think that people hate it. And even if people hate it, fuck them. Make it anyway. But I'm going to end the show here. I want to thank everybody who tuned in live. We had a really great audience this week. We should be back next week, just like we always are. Everybody fly safe, make a bunch of money. I always love hearing if my advice is hit or miss. So come join the Discord. Links to join down in the description below. We should have an edit up soon. Last week's show, I have the edit. I've had a really hard time uploading it for some fucking reason. Like, this is a me problem. But again, Christopher Mellon in the YouTube channel is our new editor, and he is doing an amazing job. And you should thank him for his hard work. And we'll be back. We'll be back next week. Damn it. That was the other fucking shout out I forgot to do in the pre-show. Damn it. I wrote a script and everything, and then I didn't read the script. This is my life. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back. We'll be back next week. Fly safe. Make a ton of money.